Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 114. It's the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the YMCA. Now, last Sunday there was a huge epic Game of Thrones episode, and there's a huge Avengers movie that came out last Thursday. And everyone's like, no spoilers, don't tell me who died, no spoilers. Well, today's episode is actually going to be pretty spoiler filled. But the spoiler is about the mortal state of JJ Cale. Is he alive or is he dead? Now that might sound macabre, but I'm going somewhere with this. You see, I love JJ Cale. I've loved JJ Cale for a long time. My older brother Ward just thinks he's the best, I've Naturally and Number 8 and Troubadour, and I've had several of his other albums on cassette. I really like his music. I really like what he does. If you don't know him very well, he manages to create this really laid-back rock. It's like rock and roll, it's a little bit country, it's a little bit blues, it's a little bit jazz, but it just ends up being very just mellow and just a really nice mood, right? But the thing is, you probably haven't heard of JJ Cale. One of my favorite JJ Cale stories is I went to go see him in concert in 1994. I went with my dad, and it was at the Somerville Theater in Massachusetts, a very small theater. And Loudon Wainwright III was the opening act. And after his first song, my dad just goes, "Go JJ!" And I had to whisper, that's not JJ Cale. That's Loudon Wainwright III. But who could really blame my dad for not knowing JJ Cale that well? He's mostly known as the guy that wrote those Eric Clapton songs. Now, my dislike of Eric Clapton is a whole nother question. Let me turn off notifications over here. I keep on buzzing. Not night shift. Do not disturb. Okay. And so he's mostly known for writing After Midnight and Cocaine. It's like a famous joke that the song Cocaine is really boring when Eric Clapton does it. If you hear the actual JJ Cale version, it's even more laid back. It's like the opposite of what you associate with cocaine. Anyway, so there's my dad screaming, "Go JJ." And I remember sitting there the whole concert thinking, I really hope he doesn't play After Midnight. I really hope he doesn't play Cocaine. Because to me, he's so much more. He's such an interesting songwriter, singer, presence, an amazing guitar player, highly influential, sort of like this phantom menace of guitar playing that's inspired many people. And then the encore comes and he plays Cocaine and he plays After Midnight. He might even play Call Me the Breeze. I think he opened up with that one. And I just felt kind of disappointed. And so when this new album popped up on my title feed, Stay Around by JJ Cale, I thought, you know what? First of all, is he dead? I thought he was dead. Well, I guess he has a new album, so I guess he's not dead. But you know how they write obituaries beforehand? Every famous person, like New York Times has an obituary ready to go, And I remember thinking, we need to rewrite JJ Cale's obituary. Whatever it is, the first line's going to be, he's famous for Eric Clapton's sucky songs from the 70s. But he deserves so much more. So right off the bat, I was thinking with my smart Skye brain there, my professor brain, that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to propose that this album, if it's any good, which it probably is, should be his new obituary for when he dies. Is he dead? I'll get there soon. So, this new album, okay? First of all, what's great about JJ Cale is whether or not you listen to his stuff from the 80s or the 70s or the stuff he did in the 90s or even the 2000s, it all sounds the same. He was never really young. He was never a young, cool, hip guy making young, hip, cool music. So what does it mean if you're never young? It means you never get old. This album sounds virtually identical to this album, but not in a way of where he's stuck. It's he has a sonic landscape and he can vary here or there. There's the title track has a little bit of a reggae sound. The track Maria has a really regrettable kind of Mexican sound to it. But in general, it's always this nice, here, I'll play an example. The song Lights Down Low, the first track on the album, a perfect example of his laid-back Oklahoma sound. Excellent guitar, simple chord progressions, simple instruments behind setting that really low-key, low-energy, but highly satisfying music.
Keep me lights down, keep me lights down,
and that singing,
keep me lights down,
that sort of whisper singing, that's how he's always sung. So how would you possibly tell? You know, when I was when I was younger, I had a minivan, and it was intentional because I knew eventually I would get older and have a minivan. So I'm like, I'll get a minivan when I'm younger. That way, when I'm older, it won't be like my old man mobile. It'll be like the same thing I've driven forever. See? That's that smart professor brain thinking. And I was right. I drive a minivan now, and I drove one when I was 20. Much like JJ Cale always sounds like this.
Got a home down south on the river ride.
Now, there are some sort of regrettable parts to this album. There's like way too many songs of him just being kind of a dirty old man. The song Stay Around. Now, on the one hand, when you have a really old singer who's probably close to death or maybe dead, like you're really afraid of there being too many songs about death. It just becomes kind of a bummer. Even like a lot of Dylan's new stuff, it's like, we get it, man. You're old. You're smart. You think about death, but I don't need to hear it all the time. That final Warren Zevon album is unlistenable, at least to me. It's just too sad. So I thought, Stay Around. This would be a song about him still being around, still being alive, unless he's dead, still being around. But it's not. It's about like, hey girl, stay around. Let's make love in my bed. And then the next track is like, Tell You About Her. Another love song. Kind of gross. Like, she's got legs. Ugh. So a little too much of the dirty old man vibe to this album. But that's not all of it. And there are a lot of highlights. I mean, just even the songs I don't like for the thematics, just the standard JJ Cale sound is extremely enjoyable. Very listenable. Put it on both in the background and active listening. Like, it works on both levels. You know, in the background because it's so mellow, but actively because he's doing so many interesting things with the guitar, and I like his songwriting. The song Go Downtown is quite nice as well. It's a sneaky, gross song. Like, it seems like it's a nice song. I'll play a little bit of that just because I really like the instrumentation on it. Has kind of like a banjo in the back that's plucked. Kind of more of like a western sound.
Go downtown, gonna find myself a woman.
But then he talks about like finding a woman and stroking her right. Dude, anyways. There's a really sweet song, a very jazzy track called Tell Daddy, which is, I hope, to his kid about the difficulties of going through life and your need to rely on your father, which, if my kids are watching this, you know, you can count on me. Jeez, I was awfully sincere. You know, I never know, like, what tone to strike in these things, like, how much I should be like Mr. Blah Blah, and how much I should just be myself, just talking. I usually put it in the comments if you want. I can't help it because I'm a performer and a public speaker, but then also I'm a really personal guy who likes talking about my life. So, hey, look, it's a still life. I have way too much fruit in the house. I'm going to change the topic there. As you know, in French, still life is dead nature, nature morte. Says a lot about the way they conceive of life and death in France versus in the English-speaking world. It's not still life, it's dead nature. Probably the highlight of the album is a track that's just him and a guitar. That's a song called Girl of Mine, which despite its title... If We Try. That's the track. Which is just a beautiful song. I'm going to skip ahead because you can actually hear the guitar, the chair in the background, like creaking. And it's just him singing. And you really get a sense of the beauty of his voice, his guitar playing, and his songwriting.
Maybe we're trying to rearrange us. Maybe we're looking for a new start. Forget tomorrow, it'll never come. Dream of sorrow when it comes undone. From bad.
So, there it is. I told you there'd be spoilers. JJ Cale died in 2013. He died like right around my divorce, so that's my excuse. I wasn't paying attention to anything back then. I was just in a different world. And I do want to write a better obituary for JJ Cale. He's not the guy that wrote those songs for Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, by the way, a guy who had a ghostwriter for his own song about his kid dying. That's who Eric Clapton is. JJ Cale wrote his own obituary, and it's this album. And what makes it a great obituary is that it's not special. It's not a special album. It's not a goodbye. It's just another JJ Cale album. Different enough to be interesting and worth buying. Same enough to give you that feeling of what JJ Cale was, what he was able to do. God damn it, I love JJ Cale. He is excellent. And this album is a great representation of that. And I mean, there's other tracks I'm not even talking about here. I'm looking at my notes here, my fancy notes. You know, the track Winter Snow has got this great distortion on it, which I don't even know was intentional. I don't know how these songs were written, when they were recorded, what they were planned for. I just know that they are a gift to us, the JJ Cale fan. Go JJ! All right. There you go. Until next time, in the comments, you can subscribe and tell me if you prefer me to be more animated, more like JJ Cale, more personal. And I think I might eat an orange, but not on screen. That would be superfluous. Not superfluous. What's the word? What's the word where you abuse the goodwill of the audience by just talking and saying anything? Oh well, I'll think about it. See you tomorrow. Actually, not tomorrow. See you eventually. I don't know when. I'm going to a concert. I'll tell you about it. There's the camera.